So as the title suggests, I completed the October challenge. I put in the work, brewed the coffee, took it easy on the edibles, and began to binge multiple horror movies. 31 watched and ranked to be exact. In order to get this video out before Halloween, I changed up the criteria a little, and instead of watching one movie a day, every day in October, I stacked them. Sometimes 2 a day, sometimes 3. So with that out of the way, I did create some criteria for myself to follow when ranking these movies. Number 1, is it scary? Number 2, is it unique or creative? Number 3, does it suit my personal tastes? Before we jump to the list, let me say all these horror movies are basically random. Yes, of course, I rewatched some of my favorites, but these titles are both old and new, and not specific to one subgenre. Skinamarink, more like Skinnamarstink. I toughed this one out for the challenge. I sat through all the static and literal darkness of this movie just to see the payoff being a talking head. Yup, let's move on. Heisenberg in space? Moon Dude is pretty cool. Besides that, not much was clear or made sense. I mean, if that's what the director was going for, congratulations, you succeeded. This one snuck its way into the challenge. Not the typical horror movie I'd watch, but I can't badmouth it too bad. It's geared for a younger audience and makes for a decent family movie. A gamer or streamer who finds themselves in a horror situation is starting to become its own horror subgenre. This one has its merits and is a pretty fun watch.
Johnny! Can we go back to the point now? I'll even let you fondle my dress.
I watched this one to knock it off my 80s B-movie horror list. Glad I did, but nothing particularly interesting to report back. I'm happy to announce I watched all 5 80s era A Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I'm not happy to announce this one is the ugly duckling of the lot. Well, I thought it was better than part 2. Went back to see the origins of Art the Clown. Shit got a little weird with Alien, sure, but it delivered on the gore, and that's what I was looking for. The last Krueger movie to come out in the 80s, and it has a baby Freddy. Aw, how sweet.
Aww.
Meh, not bad. So much more could have been done with this one, but it is what it is, and it is pretty mid. I'm kind of a sucker for occult-themed movies. Tarot, ancient symbolism, esoteric mysticism, you know, all that fun jazz. As a newer offering, this one isn't horrible. Some people are hating on this one, and I think the massive amount of overhyping might have hurt it a little. It's still a solid movie and pretty creepy. For the love of God, just look at what Nicolas Cage turned into for this role. That alone makes this movie a must-watch for any horror fan.
Cuckoo, 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 cuckoo.
You know what's a shame? I'll tell you. I went my whole life without seeing this movie. I know, my bad. This one was fun and interesting. Also, it was cool to see Edward Furlong in another good role besides Terminator. I had to refresh my memory with this one. Does a complete 180 from the original, but not bad. The ending scene with the RV is badass.
For you and me, as I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless sky.
This one has been on my radar for a while. Yes, you'll have to watch this one with subtitles, but that's how I know if foreign movies are worth it. If I'm willing to read subtitles for 2 hours, that's a pretty good indicator that the movie has enough substance to keep me entertained. Just happened to stumble upon this one, and I'm stoked that I did. This film is a Danish offering. I was pleasantly surprised. It's kinda like if Hostel met The Purge. Just so you know, I'm a sucker for zombie movies. There, I said it. I can't help it. Cramming 31 movies into a couple weeks isn't easy, and this was the palate cleanser I needed. Quirky and funny, but still a traditional zombie creep fest. Dare I say, a hidden gem. This one is not the typical horror movie, but it works so well. Emil Hirsch is fantastic. His character's dry, yet compulsive nature turns dark and deadly. A must watch, especially for those turned on by stenography? What a weird concept. The original is truly something to behold. This one didn't live up to its predecessor for me, but still a damn fine horror movie. Big budget? Big blockbuster? Yes and yes. This one has its merits. Also, learning that the creepy-ass hybrid alien at the end is played by an actual person blew my mind. But to be honest, it's one of my least favorite in the Alien franchise. This one is actually frightening. Straight dripping in gore, nasty cadavers running around wreaking havoc, and oh yeah, the time continuum gets out of whack also. All these reasons help Gehenna crack the top 10. Hillbilly all-you-can-eat buffet? Reservation for one, please. Coming out when I was in high school, this one holds a special place in my heart. This was my first time watching it in years, and I still highly enjoy this one. Hello, what's this? A concert being held, security ramped up, and all in an effort to catch a serial killer? Okay, that's kinda unique. Oh, it's also an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Enough said, I'm in. Great director, great actress, the third movie in the X series. This one delivered as advertised. Number 8 on this list is an M. Night Shyamalan movie that starred his daughter Ishana. Number 6 is a movie directed by Ishana. 2 in the top 10. I think this family knows what they're doing when it comes to horror. Ah yes, the original. A groundbreaking horror movie that scared the shit out of a generation of kids. 1, 2, Freddy's Coming for You. Personally, my favorite of the 80s Elm Street movies, this one had it all. The horror of the first movie, but also a grounded storyline that the second one failed to achieve. The original protagonist, Nancy Thompson, makes a comeback. Part 1 had Johnny Depp, Part 3 had Patricia Arquette. Surprisingly, Krueger is only mentioned as Fred in the first 2 movies. This is the first movie where he is referred to as Freddy. This is also the first time where he likes to add bitch to the end of all his sentences. Oh yeah, Dream Warriors, the song at the end, is a total banger. Poltergeist is a classic, period. Do I need to say more? Wow, I'm such a fanboy for this one. The Rock puts the smackdown and the BFG is introduced. This one floored me the first time I saw it. The way it throws in aspects of the game and the first-person shooter style, which nowadays is commonplace, but at the time it was groundbreaking, pure magic. One of the first movies I recall to pull it off, and pull it off well. Super well put together movie. The Catacombs, the Templars, the Philosopher's Stone. Yes, yes, and yes. The journey through complete madness, then once again in reverse. I can't say enough about this one, and it tops the list for this year's October challenge. This video was really fun to make, and maybe you found a movie or two you'd like to check out. Let me know in the comments. This is Planet Phobia signing off and wishing everyone a very happy Halloween.